Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of GDDV 501 Lighting and Rendering. My name is Kasanis. Guys, we are moving into week six. And in this week, we're going to take a look at the idea of shot transitions. We're moving along pretty well here, and so far we've covered the idea of the course intro as well as an introduction to cinematography. We've talked about the real-world camera, shot composition, framing, and the moving camera. And like I said, today we're moving on to shot transitions. We're going to break this up into at least 3 different episodes, I think, because there's a fair amount of information to cover here. So let's start today with an introduction to shot transitions. All right, everyone, let's get started. So, shot transitions. Today, we're going to talk about a number of different shot transitions. And what exactly is a shot transition? A shot transition, that's hard to say actually. Shot transitions are various techniques used in film editing to link a series of shots. Now, what that means really is we've got a number of shots, and your shots may differ in angle or framing or length of time that they've been shot. All different things. Like it might even have looking at another character, etc. Right? A shot will contain some information, and the next shot contains different information, and we need some way of linking these shots together into a sequence. That's what we're looking for, to create a seamless sequence. So we're going to look at a number of techniques to be able to do that today. It's in no way an exhaustive look at shot transitions. There is a lot of different types, and we're only going to talk about a few here. And in fact, a lot of times, depending on who you're speaking to, they will use different names to name shot transitions. So I'm going to try and use the ones that I think are most common so that and for the most part they are, just so that we're all kind of on the same page. So let's start off right away with the idea of the cut. And the cut is the most basic type of transition. That's what it is. And we've seen this many, many times. It's often called the cut or the hard cut. And really all it is a very sudden switch to a new camera shot. That's all it is. An extremely sudden switch to a new angle or position or shot type, right? And this is how we link it together. We just suddenly do it. Now, there are a lot of techniques to make sure that this sudden switch is not jarring. And we're going to talk about the idea of editing later on and being able to edit these shots together in order to make it seem seamless so that the production's not noticeable by your viewer. Instead, they're just simply watching. They're simply watching the film, or they're playing your game, and they don't notice that there's been this sudden jarring change in camera. But that's what it is. That's what it is, really. It is a sudden jarring change in camera, but it can be hidden in many ways. All right? And oftentimes, it's a continuation of 2 different shots in the same time and space, right? If we've got a conversation between 2 people, you're looking at person A, and then suddenly we switch to person B, and they deliver their dialogue, and we switch back to person A, and so on and so on. Those are cuts, okay? So the next thing I want to talk about is the jump cut. And the jump cut it can often be an editing error. It can be. However, there are very purposeful uses for the jump cut, and we'll talk about those in a little bit. The jump cut can be created in a number of different ways, and if it's an error, we talked about the idea of continuity errors in the last episode, and it's oftentimes due to a continuity error, right? That's what a jump cut is a continuity error of some kind, where the information is changed in some way. We make a cut to something else, and there seems to be a jump in time or space or something has occurred, right? That's what a jump cut is. It can occur for a number of different reasons, not only through a continuity error, but it can also be caused if the next shot in the sequence is not different enough from the first. If, let's say, you've got yourself, the subject of your shot centered within your screen, and in the next shot, it's just a slightly different angle of the same subject. We just, maybe, went from a high angle to a low angle, and the subject stays in relatively the same position. This sudden cut to a very similar frame is something that's very jarring and very, very noticeable. But it's oftentimes used in things like montage. When it's purposefully used, it can be used for things like montage. And it'll show the passage of time, or, where we move the actors around suddenly, and we kind of show this. Well, you guys know what a montage is. Where within this montage, we have several different cuts. And we're going to take a look at a couple of examples. There's a couple of really good examples that really are used to create unease within the viewer. It's not always to create unease. Obviously, like I've mentioned, it can be used to display the passage of time, or different views of different locations, that kind of thing. But it can be used to great effect in creating unease within the viewer, and it's because there is this sudden jarring change that we're not expecting at all. I think we're going to take a look at the Royal Tannenbaums, and I'm going to show only a snippet of the Royal Tannenbaums here, just because I don't want to show too much of it. I'll show a couple of seconds of a jarring cut so you guys can see it, and that way I won't get a strike on my YouTube channel. All right, guys, let's take a look at the Royal Tannenbaums. Okay, guys, watch what happens in this particular set of shots. Watch how quickly we jump from one to the next. So here we go. I'll hit play here, and there's our first jump, and there's our second jump, and let's take a look at one more. There's our third jump. So this sequence goes on for a fair amount of time, where each and every time the scene changes slightly. So it's creating this really jarring look. It's actually creating a purposeful jump cut showing a passage of time. But in this particular case, because the actor is really in the same position over and over again, not a lot changes. There's a sudden change that occurs. Let's watch it one more time. Let's actually watch it again from right here and see what happens. All right, there we go. There's the next cut. There's our next cut. And there we go again. And you can see how each and every time it is an extremely, extremely sudden change within the actor's position. So this, if we look back on it, would be a continuity error, right? A continuity of information error, where the actor is in a slightly different position each and every time. And in this particular case, it's really meant to be jarring for our audience. It's really meant to be jarring for the audience. All right, so that's an example of the jump cut. Let's head back to the lecture. The next idea I'd like to talk about is the split edit. And there's two types of split edit. There's the L cut and there is the J cut. And in both cases, it's created by a mismatch in the audio and the visual. In the case of an L cut, the visuals are changed before the audio. So the audio from the first shot continues with the visuals of the second shot. So the visuals change and the audios change a little bit later on. So we've moved into the next visual and we've got ourselves a continued audio. The J cut is the opposite. The audio from the next shot is heard before the visuals are initiated. So we hear what's going to be happening in the next scene before we actually see what's happening. There are obviously a million different examples of this type of edit. But the one we're going to take a look at today is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's an example of an L cut. All right, let's take a quick look at a snippet from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Okay, so let's look at a really obvious example of a split edit. Watch what happens here. The teacher is taking attendance. He's calling out Fry. He's looking for the student, and then we transition to Ferris Bueller's home, and he continues to call out the name. I've left the audio on. Obviously, the audio is very important for the split edit. All right, let's take a look.
Thank you, Simone.
No problem whatsoever.
Fry.
Okay, and there we go. That actually is another example. Now watch what happens in the second part here as well. What we're going to see, we saw there where he said Fry, and then we switched to the home, and then Fry, we heard the audio continue on. Now watch this other example. We just heard a phone ring. And in this next shot, let's take a watch. We cut over to the phone, which is ringing in the bedroom. Okay, so there is a couple of examples for you of split edits. Let's head back to the lecture. The next idea I'd like to talk about is parallel editing or cross-cutting. Same name, same thing, just two different names. And basically, this is a technique of alternating between two or more scenes that are occurring simultaneously but in different locations. And we're cutting back and forth between these two locations. That's the idea between parallel editing and cross-cutting. And oftentimes we're trying to show what's happening in two different locations simultaneously, or we're trying to compare two things that are happening in two different locations simultaneously. There's a lot of different reasons why you might want to use parallel editing or cross-cutting. Lots of times the result of a parallel edit is that the two scenes kind of come together, so they culminate in the same location. That's not always the case, though. So a lot of times, let's say you had two characters. Character A is chasing character B. We might cut back and forth between character A and character B, different locations as they're chasing each other, and then they eventually come together at the single location and they have their fight. Or it could be used, for example, in a phone conversation where you've got actor A on the phone calling actor B. Actor B picks up and the camera cuts over to actor B's house. We then see actor B say hello, and then we cut back to actor A, and actor A says hello, and it goes back and forth in that way. That's parallel editing or cross-cutting. And there's a lot of really great examples, but the one I want to talk about today, and this is an old reference. All of my references are old. I think I really need to update some of my references. The problem is that a lot of these are really good. Anyway, a really great example of cross-cutting comes from the film Silence of the Lambs. And in the sequence I'd like to talk about, I'll just talk about it really, and I'll show you a snippet of some really awesome things that occur within it. In this particular sequence, what's happened is the FBI has narrowed down their suspects, and they're about to raid Buffalo Bill's house. And now Buffalo Bill, if you haven't seen the movie, Buffalo Bill has a woman captive, and he's going to kill her. I won't get into any graphic details, but he's going to kill her. And the FBI think they know where this guy lives, and they're about to raid his home. So we cut back and forth between the FBI raid being set up and Buffalo Bill's house. And it goes back and forth, back and forth. And eventually it ends with Clarice, which is the hero of our show, our protagonist, Clarice confronting Buffalo Bill. That's where it ends. And we find out that the FBI are raiding the wrong house and that Clarice is in big trouble. So let's take a look at a couple of snippets from Silence of the Lambs. So we're going to take a look here at Silence of the Lambs, and I'm only going to show you little bits and pieces of it. There's actually some controversial stuff within here. There's some violence. I'm going to leave the audio off because there's some swearing, and I really don't want to, I don't want to have any problems on this particular channel. So let's take a quick look at the beginning. And what's happening here? We've got ourselves the FBI setting up in order to raid this particular home. They think this is where the bad guy lives. Now we cut across, so that first shot with the FBI kind of running into place, that acts as an establishing shot. So we think, as an audience, that what's happening here is the FBI is setting up in front of Buffalo Bill's home. And then we cut over to Buffalo Bill. That's what we see next, Buffalo Bill here. So we assume that because we had this establishing shot of a home, we assume that we've now gone inside of the home and we are seeing Buffalo Bill. We've been led to believe this the entire time, that the FBI is about to catch this guy. Now, let's move ahead a little bit here in the video, and we'll take a look at a couple more examples of the crosscut. Okay, let's take a look at this second example. This is a continuation of the same sequence. So again, the FBI agents are planning on breaking into Buffalo Bill's home. They're kind of trying to surprise him. They've disguised themselves as flower delivery people, and they're going to just ring his doorbell, and when he answers, they're going to charge in and take him captive. That's their big plan. So let's hit play and check it out. So here we go. We've got ourselves the flower delivery guy. He rings the doorbell, and we cut immediately to this shot of a bell ringing. We saw the FBI agent press the doorbell, and then this bell goes off. And we're meant to assume now that because the FBI agent pressed the doorbell, this is actually the doorbell to Buffalo Bill's home, and they're in the right place. And this is further enforced by the fact that Buffalo Bill reacts to this sound, all right? And this is also an example of split editing that we just talked about as well, right? Well, we don't know this yet. Spoiler alert. The sound from the bell is actually in both scenes. That's an example of split editing. Anyway, so again, the doorbell's been rung, and the FBI agents are a little bit confused on why he hasn't answered. So they're going to try it one more time. Yeah, try it one more time. And again, close up, press the button. At the same time that he pressed the button, the doorbell rings. All right, and now we're going to see Buffalo Bill walk out and try and figure out who's at his door, right? He even says, coming, as he walks towards the door. All right, they're saying, let's go, let's go. So the FBI agents, he didn't answer the door. They're going to break in. They're getting ready. And he answers the door. And oh my God, we find out that it's not actually FBI agents. This is a different location. Surprise! It's a different location, and Clarice is at the door. All right, so now we know the FBI agents are in the wrong location. They're going to break into that home. They're in absolutely the wrong location. Buffalo Bill is not there. But our protagonist, Clarice, is at Buffalo Bill's house, and she's all alone. All right, guys. So this is an excellent example of parallel editing or cross-cutting. It's really good because it's really meant to mislead us as viewers, right? We are meant to believe that it's in the same location, but in reality, it's not the same location, and we now are surprised by the fact that, oh my God, Clarice is in big trouble. If you haven't seen this movie, it's really old, 1991. I would guess that 50% of the people who are watching this right now might not even have been born in 1991. All right, guys, let's head back to the lecture. So like I said, guys, I really love that example of parallel editing. It's an excellent example. Silence of the Lambs, excellent example. And the entire point of that particular shot sequence was to mislead us as viewers, right? So it really built suspense. It was really fantastic at building suspense. Anyway, guys, if you haven't seen it, go watch Silence of the Lambs. It's kind of gory. It's kind of a horrible show as far as like violence and that kind of stuff's concerned, but it's actually a great example of excellent parallel editing, especially that particular scene. And we also got to see a split edit there. So when the FBI agent presses the doorbell and we hear the bell going off before we actually cut over to see the bell, and then the same thing is true when we push the bell the second time and we hear the buzzer go off in Buffalo Bill's house. That's in an entirely different location, right? So again, that's a great example of a split edit as well. Okay, the last idea I want to talk about is the contrast cut. This is not the last of our transition techniques. We're going to have more. I'm just breaking this up into smaller videos so it's not too boring for all of you. The last idea is called the contrast cut. It's also called the smash cut. There's a number of different names for it. And again, this type of cut is meant to juxtapose two different scenes. So we'll cut to very, very different scenes. And the entire point of it is this jarring difference that's going to occur. It's oftentimes has to do with a dream sequence of some kind, or it has to do with just in juxtaposing two different things that are happening. You know, a peaceful situation moving into a very violent one, for example, or something to that effect. There are a number of great examples of it. Suicide Squad has an entire sequence with a number of different contrast cuts that are occurring, and we'll take a look at a couple of those contrast cuts in 1 second. Another really great example is from the movie Total Recall. I'm going way back in time here just to show how old I am. Total Recall, when Schwarzenegger is dreaming that he's on Mars and his eyes are bulging out because his helmet breaks, and then boom, he wakes up, and that's a contrast cut. All right, that's a contrast cut or a smash cut, where we go from something very distinctly different, a different location, etc. Let's take a look at some examples from the Suicide Squad. Okay, in this example, we have Harley Quinn, and she is fantasizing about the fact that she has married the Joker, that life is just normal, everyone is normal, everyone's fine, she's a stay-at-home mom with 2 kids, and he's the dad, he's a businessman, everything is fine, and everyone is happy. Now, this fantasy is being forced upon her, that doesn't really matter though, but in this particular fantasy, we're going to see normalcy, and then we're going to see the smash cut or the contrast cut that occurs. In the contrast cut, what occurs is we're suddenly going to see Harley Quinn in her real situation where she's actually in danger, and she's dirty, and nothing's good. All right, so let's hit play and see. So here we go. Here's Joker. He's happy. Everyone's happy, smiling. Everything is great. Examining our 2 kids. And once we cut here, we're going to cut in 1 second. We are going to see Harley Quinn in her real situation. All right. And there we go. That's Harley Quinn in her actual current situation where everything is not okay, everything is bad. And that was the contrast cut. We're contrasting the normalcy of the everyday life with her current situation. All right, guys. Well, I think that takes us to the end of this. That's really what I wanted to show. I didn't want to show anything else right now. There are a ton more we're going to talk about in the upcoming episodes. We're going to move on in the next episode to talk about the idea of continuity editing. So how we make these transitions not noticeable. In things like the contrast cut, it's meant to be noticeable, but in a lot of other times when we have just a straight cut, we don't want people to notice that we've actually cut to new locations. All right? So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, let me know down below with a thumbs up. And if you didn't, a thumbs down is perfectly fine. All right, I'm always happy to hear from you. So please make your comments. Tell me what you think. Tell me how I can improve. I love to improve. All right, everyone? Thumbs up, thumbs down, comments down below. And if you haven't done so, please take a few seconds to subscribe. Have yourselves a wonderful day, everyone.